Hello everybody, this is Budrich. It's a new episode of Let's Linux that I call polymediatitle. Yes, and today we are gonna make, what the title says, a polymediatitle. We're gonna display the currently active playing track in our polybar using a hook module. But with a little twist. If it is a movie playing, then we want to display the movie title. And I also want to change the color of the text depending on the state of the media, if it's paused or if it's playing. So let's just get started here. I've prepared some things here. This is what we're gonna do. We'll see how far we get in this video. We start with creating a hook module in polybar, and I have cheated a bit here, and this is my polybar config file. I will go to the top. I think it doesn't matter where you enter this section, but you create a new module like this. Inside square brackets you write module / and then the name of the module, and I will call this module mediatitle. And this part here, this is just a comment. You can see the semicolon here, and this is just a small thing I have in my Sublime, so I can easily browse these sections. I have a video on how you can do this if you use Sublime. I will link that in the description, but let's not focus on that. After you have created a module with this, then you have to specify what type of module it is, and if you create your own things, then they are custom, but there are two types of custom modules. It's the IPC and it is the script modules. I call them hook modules actually, but you write them like this, IPC, and then you enter a number of hooks in this fashion with hook dash and then the number of that hook. The last thing here, initial, that is which hook to display when polybar first loads or reloads. We can create two sample hooks here just so you see. And a hook, that is just a command. You can enter a command or a path to a script or a program or something, and the output of that command will be displayed in the hook. So here we can write, let's write 0. And on the other one here we can type echo 1. And then we have to activate this hook in our modules list. I will add it here to the far right, in my modules right here. And we just enter mediatitle. Now if I save, now it says 0 here. Whoops. Mediatitle, because 0 is the first hook, initial 1. If I would change this to initial 2 and reload polybar, then it will echo 1 instead, because that is the second hook, even if it's named hook number 1. And that's all a hook module does. That's the big difference. A script module, it will then you specify an interval at which you want to update the module, and it will run the command or the script that you have specified there at a certain interval. But the hook module, it only executes the command once when polybar first loads. Then you have to call this hook or ping it from, for example, I can do it here from the command line here, polybar message. Then is write hook and the name of the module containing the hook, mediatitle, and then the number of the hook. So if I do this, polybar message hook mediatitle 1, then it will execute the first hook here, and it updates the content here after it have executed the command. Then I can of course do 2, and then it does this, and it does this without updating the rest of the bar. So this is very, very useful if you want to update a module from a script, but you don't really know how often. You know, if you, for example, this is a really good example what we're going to do now, updating on on media player change. Sometimes, you know, the media player doesn't change the status for hours, you know, maybe you're not listening to music or something. And then it's very, very stupid to have a script running I have seen some people running every second to see what track it is and things like that. I have even done it myself, so, but whatever. Now we're using this hook module. Okay, music player. We were looking at this in the last episode, I think. We set up a basic cmus installation setup here. And we added some key bindings so we can toggle the state of the player by key bindings. You can see the bindings down at the bottom right corner here. But how do we get information about this to our polybar? There is here is cmus man page, and there is one setting called status-display program, and here you can enter a command that will get executed every time the status of the player changes. If you change track, if you play or pause and stuff like that. And then by specifying a command here, then that will get executed. So first we create a script. I have prepared it a bit here. Is it this one? Yeah, polymediatitle. Let's do this first. Hello from Poly. And then I can run polymediatitle here. And it echoes hello from Poly. We can set this status display program here in cmus by just entering command mode by pressing colon, and then set status display program is equal to polymediatitle. Like that. So now every time the status of the player changes, then it will execute this script. But this is totally useless, that it just echoes hello from Poly out to somewhere, nowhere, you know. But when it executes the script, it also gives the script some arguments, and those arguments contains information about the player, like the status and the currently playing track. We can see these arguments by, I think I want to do a printf here. If you've never seen printf, then okay. $@ redirect this to a file, let's call it polymediaoutput. You can see I have that open here. I should close that because I think I've deleted it, like that. Okay, so now every track change, it will execute this script. This script will print each argument on a new line here and redirect that to polymediaoutput, a file in my home folder. That file doesn't exist right now, but if I change track here now, you see it created a file here. If we open that file, we can see the arguments that get passed to the status display program, which is polymediatitle. And it is a lot of arguments here. Status is the first, playing is the second, file is the third, the file name is the fourth. The rest of these arguments are depending on if the track is tagged and if the tags contain anything, like artist tag, then these two. Yeah, you get it. We can look here really quickly in cmus. If I play untagged song here, I know these ones are, then we only get status playing and the file. So all we need to do now, or you know what, let's do this. We'll save this. We should also do this. Let's save this path to this file, and you probably don't want a file in your home folder called like this. You can figure out a better file. Let's just create a variable called, let's call it op output file is equal to this. I think I also want to do this home. It's the same thing. And op file. Then we do this, and we can save a commented out copy of that. So now instead of printing each argument on a new line, let's just print out the whole all arguments on one line instead. So if we go here, and now if I change track, oh, that didn't work. Let's do an echo instead. There. Now it prints all arguments on one line. And if we wanted to, we can, in our mediatitle module here, let's change this back to initial 1, so it will echo 0 here now. We could add this command, cat. And cat, you can use that to concatenate files, that's what it should be used for, but you could also use it to just print out the content of a file to standard output. And if we cat out, as the cool kids say, the polymedia output in our home folder here. Now I save here, and this is, yeah, it can't fit. Now my bar is full, but it prints out everything inside polymedia output file here. So this is a way to display what's going on in cmus. We will of course clean this output up a lot, and also if we change track now, maybe I should. There, now it changes the output here, but it doesn't update the polybar. This is very, very easy done here. We could just add this polybar message command here after we have created the file. But I have found that it's good to add a sleep here of about 0.1, 0.2 milliseconds before updating polybar here, and we will ping the first hook, because that is the cat command here. So now if I save, or if I change track here now you see polybar, it updates every time I change track. But we want to have a much prettier output than this. So how are we gonna use these fields here? Maybe we should let's like that. We go back to this outputting each field on a separate line again, and I change track so we can see it. Here we need to create variables, and they do this if you look into the man page here for cmus and the status display program. Then they have an example file here. We can look at that really quickly and copy a part of it. So if I, maybe it is this guy here I was opening. Yeah, this is that file that you saw in the man page here. It looks like this. So we could actually have used this example here, but we will not do that, but we will steal a little loop from it and enter that in our script here. And let me explain this strange loop for you really quickly. It's a while loop, and while it loops this the content here between the do and the done, as long as this test is true, and the test is pound symbol, and that is the number of arguments. So here we have 18 arguments. So as long as the number of arguments is greater than or equal to 2, then the loop will get executed. And inside the loop we have an eval here. And eval is a really cool command. It works like this. It will evaluate the rest of the line here after the command eval. And when it evaluates, it expands the variables. So $1 will be expanded to the content of $1, and $2 will be expanded to the content of $2. And the first time the loop executes, $1 is the first argument, status, $2 is the second argument, playing here. And then when it have expanded the variables and done everything on the line, then it will execute the line. And that means that it will create this variable here that will be underscore status is equal to playing inside single quotes. So it will automatically create named variables for us here. And this means that we could access those variables by writing something like god damn it, underscore or dollar underscore status. If we do this and send that to the OP file here, then we can look at our file. If I switch track now, then it will output the content of the variable underscore status. We'll see what that is. It's only playing. Do you follow? We could change this to file and execute that. Whoops, let's close this guy. Now it only displays the file name. So let's ping the hook again. And now if I change track, now polybar should only contain the file name, because that's everything that is in our polybar or polymediaoutput file here. And now it's a little bit cleaner at least. Now it only displays the file name in polybar. But I guess most people would rather see artist maybe here, which is another field, dash title, switching tracks. Now we see, now we have quite a nice output here. But what happens if I change to an untagged track here? For example this, I know this is untagged. Now it only displays the dash and the spaces here in this output string, because artist and title doesn't contain anything. They don't even exist in the argument list here. So we need to make sure or see if the track is tagged or not. And we can do it by doing this, creating an if clause here. If dash n dollar underscore title. If title contains a value, then we want to output this. We can create a variable called just OP for output. But if title doesn't contain a value, then OP can be the file name instead. Else OP is equal to dollar underscore file. And then we enter OP here. And oh yeah, let's see how this works. Changing tracks. Yeah, and now you see these guys the top file here, those are untracked, so now it displays the file name. But these tracks I know are tagged, and now it displays the artist and the title. And if we wanted to, we could trim this file name a bit, remove the directory, remove the extension, and then many tracks would look totally acceptable. Very easy to do so. Instead of the full file here, we could print file, but remove everything from the beginning of the content of file up until the last slash. Save there, switching tracks. Now you see the directory is removed, but we still have the extension here. That is as easy as doing this. Switching tracks. Now it displays the file name but without extension and without directory. And if I would change to a tagged song, it says artist and title. Of course, this is a little bit dirty. Maybe we should also check if the artist tag exists, and you could extend this script further, but let's leave it like this, because sometimes a track might only have a title and a blank artist line and stuff like that, but you get it. Last thing here, I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, I wanted to change color of the text here depending on if the track is playing or if it is paused. And I have shown you this in some previous videos about the colors are poison videos. I will link the specific one where I change the colors in polybar, because there I talk about polybars formatting strings. But to see if the track is paused or if it's playing, we can look at the content of the status variable, and that always exists. Status and file, or sometimes actually file, it can also be URL if it's a URL you're playing. But we keep it like this now. If status is not equal to playing, then I would like a different color. So if it's stopped or if it's paused or something, if it's playing, then I want this normal white color, which is the default polybar color. But if it's not playing, then we want a different color, and we can do that by creating a new variable. We can call that variable prefix. And here we enter a polybar format string here. And those looks like this: percentage brace F, that stands for foreground color. We could change the background color by writing B, but we aren't, so F, and then you enter a color, a hexadecimal color, for example magenta. So now we created this variable. We should also, if it is playing, maybe this is unnecessary to do this, but I do it anyways. If it is playing, then we just want the default foreground color, and that could be written like this, F, and then just a dash, and that means reset foreground color. So if it's not playing, then it will create this variable, blah blah blah. Then we just prepend this prefix to the output before we send it to the OP file here. Because if we look here now the output file looks like this. OP is equal to prefix and then OP, and then we close. Because if we would change the color here, then we just add this reset to normal foreground color after this string. So f dash ding dong. Save here now and change track. It just looks like normal here, but if we look in the media output, then we see here that it have added these format strings here. If I would pause the track here now, it looks like this, but it didn't update polybar. Now it works. It's paused. If I play, you should update polybar. You now it seems. Don't know why it's not. Why you're not walking me, man? Let's increase the sleep time here, maybe. I don't like that. Now it works. Now it works. I don't know what. Maybe it was because we were watching the file or something. But now it changes to this magenta color. But the magenta color, I don't want that. I want the same color as you can see here. I have a gray color, and also this is displaying the currently visible window in my main container. So if I change container, then it grays out. And this is, I like to have it like this so I know when the main container is active, because sometimes I have it like this and I don't see the title bars. And then this is very good to know which window is active. I want the same gray color when the track is paused as I have there. And that color is in my X resources, and I can see all my X resources by entering xrdb-query, and here we can see all the resources, and I know that that gray color, it is this one, Act 3. Act 1, that's the accent, the blue accent color. Act 1 or Act 2, that is the white color, the foreground of the accent, and Act 3 is like a highlight color for accent. I can also see it in my polybar. I think I have a settings. Yeah, here we can see Act 3. So we want the color corresponding to this X resources. I guess it's easiest if you look in your polybar to see if you have an accent color there maybe. Then you can copy this string, go to polymedia, and instead of hard coding this color here, we add a subshell, the output of a subshell with the command xrdb query piped to awk, see if $1, and $1 is the first field, and that is all this. If $1 contains this, then we print $2, and $2 is the second field here. And we have to close this and close this, and also close the parentheses. So this, maybe we can do, I think I can do this. So this is replacing the color, the hard-coded color. Let's see if this works now. I have no idea actually. Let's pause the track, and we get the right gray color. Perfect. And this means that it will follow the theme. If I would change my X resources here to a different color of this Act 3, maybe your resource is named something else, but as I said, look in your polybar and see what you have, what kind of colors you use in your bar, and use that in this check here. And I think I am happy there. now it changed track here while I was talking, and that was why it changed. And I say thank you for watching. In the next video we will fetch information from MPV and display that instead in the bar by just changing the content of this file, the output, to the title of MPV and display that. But then we also have to use our listener script to see which window and which player is active and things like that. And then we add these polymorphic key bindings, meaning that we will use the same key bindings to play and pause the media player, but it will affect different media players depending on which one is active or which one we want to affect. It's really cool, and I hope you will like it too. I say thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a good day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.